How's it going, guys? It's the Pixelated Pumpkin, and in today's video, I'll be taking a look at a brand new teaser released by Spirit Halloween, hinting at their entire lineup for this year. So basically, the way this teaser works is that each headstone or each gravestone is actually one of their props for this year. We get the name and a small description for it on their website, but in all honesty, I think this is actually a really clever way to start off the sneak peek season if they're doing traditional sneak peeks again, because every other day or every week or so, they could dig up, quote-unquote, each animatronic and show us and give us a sneak peek that way. And obviously, this gives us our first look at the theme for this year, which will be the Spirit Hollow Cemetery. And I'll get into my opinion on that, of course, eventually. But let's start off with the animatronics. I'll take a look at each headstone and read you the description from the website, and then give my thoughts on what I think the animatronic will be and what it will look like. So without any more hesitation, guys, the Spirit Halloween 2023 season is finally here. So let's dig, pun intended, right in. Just to get this one out of the way first, we have the creepy rising doll headstone, and obviously you guys already know that this is a returning animatronic. I forget what year this one was exactly sold, but yes, it is returning for this year. And to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of this one. I never really saw the hype around it. I know it is generally quite popular, but in my opinion, I really just don't see it. I think it looks pretty cheap and bland, and it's not all too scary, especially the doll face on this one. It is very plasticky looking, but this is just going to be a simple return, I guess, for this year. It's quite an oddball pick, but at the same time, that's what Spirit Halloween has been giving us these past years. I guess since Wacky Mole, the returns they brought back each year were just getting stranger and more out of the blue. So I don't really care, to be honest with you guys. Definitely not for me, but for those who want it to return, well, I'm happy you're happy. The next prop we have is yet another returning animatronic, this time being the Grave Watcher. Now I have to say I do like this one a lot better than the creepy rising doll. Even though it's only a 3-foot prop, I still think this thing manages to be insanely creepy looking. I really like this one. One of the best 3-foot props Spirit Halloween has ever sold, in my opinion. It's just really creepy, and I think it's cool that's returning. But it's $80, which I think honestly is a ripoff, and especially that it's 3 foot. I'm not paying more than $40 for a 3-foot prop, but I'm getting off track here. Anyways, I think it's pretty cool that this one is returning, and I'm looking forward to seeing it once again. Alright, so now that we got the returners out of the way, here's our first brand new animatronic for the Spirit Halloween 2023 season, being the 6.6 foot The Black Heart animatronic. So how I will be breaking these down and speculating on what they will be and what they could do is I'm going to give you a little summary of the description of the animatronic, then I'll be explaining what I think it's going to do and what I think it's going to look like. So let's get started. So the story of this animatronic in the description on the website is that a young woman climbs into a grave wanting true love or something like that, and then when she wakes up, there's a dead guy kissing her. So I don't know how this one is actually going to look at all. It might actually be two individual people a part of the animatronic. I don't know. This one seems to be very hard to speculate on what it could actually be, because I don't think it's just going to be a single person animatronic. It does not sound like that. Or maybe it's going to be a zombie woman with her face ripped off or something like that. I don't know. It sounds cool though, very unique and interesting, but that's just how it sounds. In reality, it could just be another Evelyn Leach type prop or something like that. It could end up being pretty bland and basic, but from the sound of this description, it sounds very strange and possibly a very unique animatronic, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, it's very difficult to speculate on this one. The next prop we have is the Cauldroness, standing at 4 feet tall and retailing for $280. Now this one just sounds from the description like another Cauldron Witch animatronic, but with it being 4 feet tall, that brings in some questions, so I'll do my best to speculate on what I think this will be. Starting off, this could literally just be as simple as another SVI Cauldron Witch animatronic, but I really think it's more than that. Since it's 4 feet tall, I think possibly the witch can be inside the actual cauldron, like she's actually cooking herself alive or something like that. Now, I feel like that would be probably more unique and definitely makes sense for the 4-foot height, but for right now, I really can't say more than that. I think there's going to be a witch, and there's definitely going to be a cauldron involved. Our next prop is called Dagger Mike, standing at 5 feet tall and retailing for $170. Now, I'm going to read you the first 2 sentences of the description and tell me what you think this sounds like. Some kids are just born nasty. Dagger Mike never was a normal kid. He liked rats, bugs, knives, creepy clowns, and scaring the heck out of everyone in the neighborhood. Now, if that sounds familiar, that is almost identical to Johnny Punk's description, and it gets better if you read down a little more. So instead, he opted out for something simpler, a cute clown outfit with 2 daggers. Yeah, this is basically a sequel to Johnny Punk from the sounds of it. A weird kid that dresses as a clown for some reason and is potentially dangerous. I really don't understand why Spirit is trying their hand again at making this kind of prop, because obviously it failed tremendously with Johnny Punk. But really, this sounds like a sequel or another take at the same type of prop Johnny Punk was, and I cannot understand why. I really hope this one ends up being actually scary or, just somewhat good, just a tiny bit good, unlike Johnny Punk, but I really don't have much hope for this one here. And that is also our first clown, so let's keep a clown tally to see if Spirit Halloween learned their lesson on making too many clowns. Our next prop is the Darling Dolly animatronic, standing at 7 feet tall and retailing for $280. So basically the story of this one is that a little girl finds a doll, weird stuff starts happening, so her dad decides to bury the doll during a thunderstorm, the shovel gets struck by lightning and the doll comes to life, standing at 7 feet tall presumably. Now this sounds very similar to Creepy Rising Doll, which we already know is a separate prop that is returning for this year, so they're doing the same exact concept twice for both these props it seems, which is a bit strange why they would choose to bring back Creepy Rising Doll if we're basically getting another tall standing doll this year. So I don't really understand what the idea behind bringing the Creepy Rising Doll back was. But anyways, this one actually sounds pretty cool. I hope it looks nothing like Creepy Rising Doll, and it ends up being an actual creepy prop, unlike the Creepy Rising Doll. I have said Creepy Rising Doll way too much. But anyways, the Darling Dolly animatronic seems pretty interesting. I don't know what it's going to look like again. There really isn't much to speculate on how it will look, but maybe there'll be eye animation or something on this one, because obviously on the tombstone we see a winking eye, but we'll just have to wait and see, of course. Our next prop is the Death Stalker. That's a pretty cool name, standing at 7.3 feet tall and retailing for $280. So the description of this one basically says that the Death Stalker is, stalking you, growling and scratching. So I'm pretty positive that this one is going to be either some sort of werewolf or beast type animatronic, I guess you could say. Some sort of animalistic type humanoid or a werewolf. Either one, basically the same thing though. Definitely feeling more towards werewolf, especially with the claw marks on the tombstone. And Deathstalker doesn't sound like it would be a werewolf name, but I don't know. That's all I really have to say about this one, other than that Deathstalker is a pretty cool damn name. The next prop we're looking at is Desmodus, standing at 6 feet tall and retailing for $230. Now, the description of this one says that this bloodthirsty bat was born deep in the caves of the rainforest, emerging years after gorging unsuspecting forest dwellers. So this one basically sounds like it's gonna look a lot like Man-Bat from the Batman series. I do think that it's not really a vampire, more of a mutated humanoid bat creature. Definitely less on the human side than on the bat side, of course. So again, I think this one just sounds like it's gonna be a bat monster rather than a vampire. Again, think of Man-Bat from the Batman series. That's probably what it's gonna end up looking pretty similar to. But that's my best guess here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The next animatronic we're looking at is Eternal Rest, standing at 3 feet tall and retailing for $140. This one definitely sounds like it's going to be a weeping widow animatronic type thing. I think it's going to be probably a woman down on her knees with her hands in her face crying, and then there'll be some sort of jump scare or something like that. That's definitely what I'm getting from the description here, as it basically literally just says that she's weeping for eternity. And especially with it being 3 feet tall, it can't be a full standing female woman animatronic, so it definitely will have to be crouching or on its knees or something like that. I think this one definitely has some potential to be pretty cool, so I'm excited to see it. The next animatronic we're looking at is called Heckles, standing at 6.6 feet tall and retails for $280. Now this one is most definitely a clown animatronic, so tally up another clown. Now we have 2 so far. That will definitely have something to do with balloons. As it says, he fills his balloons with poisonous gas, so it's definitely going to be some sort of balloon salesman clown. I really don't know how this one will play out. It has the potential to be pretty creepy or pretty goofy, but at the same time, it's just another clown, and I feel like there's really nothing they could do to really innovate on the idea of clown animatronics at this point. But anyways, of course I hope this clown is awesome, but I'm not too confident Spirit Halloween will be able to innovate on clowns anymore. Our next animatronic is called Hellspawn, standing at 5 feet tall and retailing for $330. Alright, holy crap, that is way too expensive. I don't care what this thing does. It better do my dishes if I'm paying that much for it. Anyways, this one sounds actually really awesome. So basically the story goes that a scam artist or a con artist actually made a deal with the devil and was reborn as a demon, which I think is actually a really cool concept. My idea for what this animatronic might be is definitely not what you guys expect, but I think this is going to be a demon dressed in a business suit and has something in his hand or some sort of accessory, or just has a very, very wide array of animation like servo motors everywhere. Just keep it simple and just have servo motors on every part of his body, which might explain the price, and it's only 5 feet tall. So I do think it has the potential just to be a normal looking guy, except he has a demon face and horns and is wearing a suit. I think that is actually a pretty possible thing, especially with the description of this guy. That's what it sounds like it could be. I don't know. I feel like that is what makes sense because it's about a scammer and con artist. That is what this Hellspawn guy is, trying to convince new souls to do the devil's bidding. So definitely, I feel like this could be a well-dressed demon, so to speak. So, I don't know. What do you guys think of that idea? Even if that's not what it ends up looking like, would that be a cool animatronic idea? Let me know. But $330 for this price, $330, that is ridiculous. Again, I don't care what this thing does. It is not worth that much money. Our next animatronic should be a familiar face to you guys, especially at Lowe's and Party City this year, because Spirit Halloween will be the third retailer selling a Leatherface animatronic for this season, which I just think is really funny. But this one is actually unique in that Leatherface won't be wearing his normal mask. He'll actually be having the one with the Pretty Woman makeup on it. That's what the website calls it. So if you recall in the actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, Leatherface about halfway through the movie actually puts a bunch of makeup on his mask and basically changes up his character a lot. So I think that's pretty interesting that this version of it will be dressing up like that, which is definitely unique. But I think I would like the stock version of Leatherface better, especially the one at Party City this year, even though I have yet to make a video on that, which I will definitely very soon. That one looks the best for sure, especially that's made by Techie Toys. I have a feeling this one's probably going to be made by Crazy Crate, so it'll probably end up not being that great. But anyways, Leatherface wearing the makeup might actually be a pretty cool animatronic, depending on what it does. Our next animatronic is yet another clown being called Poor George, standing at 4.2 feet tall and retailing for $180. Now this one, from the description, we really don't get much other than that George's body survived a terrible accident. So I really don't know if this will be some sort of like mutilated or crippled clown or something like that. I don't know. It just might end up being another generic clown. And there we go. 3 clowns now that Spirit Halloween is selling this year. They can just not give it up on the clowns, man. Seriously, I am so sick of clowns. Anyways, I have a feeling this one might end up being pretty cool, actually. If it's like a really messed up looking clown that's actually scary for once, it might end up being pretty good. But at the same time, it might end up being terrible, as most clowns are, in my opinion, of course. The price of $180 seems pretty fair, but it is only 4.2 feet tall, so we'll just have to see in store. I don't know, guys. What do you think about this one? Our next prop is another licensed character, this time being Slim from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I know this was actually a very requested animatronic to see another Killer Clowns from Outer Space animatronic. This one stands at 7.2 feet tall and retails for, wait for it, $400. Now that is just outrageous. Again, these prices are insane. I do not understand why this thing will cost $400. But we'll just have to wait and see. I think it is cool to see another Killer Clowns from Outer Space animatronic, especially Slim. He's a good one for sure. And it's going to be pretty tall as well, so that's exciting. But again, another clown. I know it technically is an alien, but come on, it's literally called Killer Clowns. So I am counting this as a clown, being our 4th clown now. Just ridiculous, guys. I have really had it with the clowns. But, I mean, since it is Killer Clowns, I guess I'll let it slide. But I don't know. $400 for this, though, is so crazy. And here is our final brand new animatronic Spirit Halloween has teased to us, being Stilts, standing at 7.9 feet tall and retailing for $350. Now this one sounds like yet another clown, so our 5th clown of the year, being a juggling clown that is apparently on stilts. So I really don't know what this one is going to look like. I don't know how they're going to pull off juggling in an animatronic. So that might actually looking really cool if they manage to make it look realistic. Or at the same time, that effect might be way too hard to pull off for a consumer grade prop and end up turning out to look like shit. But I really can't say right now. This is actually probably my most anticipated animatronic to see what it does, because juggling, again, that just sounds crazy if they pull it off properly. But I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see, of course, so I'm looking forward to it. So now let's talk about the Spirit Halloween 2023 theme, because I have a lot to say. Alright everybody, here's our theme for this year, the Spirit Hallows Cemetery. And this is definitely not the first time we have seen a cemetery from Spirit Halloween for the theme. Back in 2011, the whole theme was a cemetery. And, I mean, we've had themes that are just basically should qualify as cemeteries. Like the Ruins, I feel, was definitely, pretty much a cemetery, right? And there's definitely a few others throughout the years that should really qualify as cemeteries but aren't officially called one. So I think it is pretty interesting that Spirit Halloween is going with yet another cemetery theme, since it's very, very simple, but I guess it works for the 40th anniversary since they want to go with something more classic. So I'm hoping they really bring something unique to the table, because a cemetery could really go one of two ways, especially with Spirit Halloween. One, it could be super bland and boring, or two, it could be the best theme we have seen to date, honestly. Especially this being their 40th anniversary, I have a feeling it is going to be insane this year. I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing what this theme will look like. Again, cemetery is such a bland pick, but I think they could make it work for sure. Especially with the way the themes have been for the past few years. I've really been loving them, except for 2020. But I think they could really pull off something great here. So here's to hoping that they make a cemetery theme actually pretty interesting. I think they can do it. But anyways, that's all I really have to say about the cemetery. So let me recap what I think about Spirit Halloween 2023 so far. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed my speculation on the props and the theme for this year. I hope you guys are starting to picture in your mind what these props could potentially look like, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them, as this is Spirit's 40th anniversary, so I'm sure they'll have lots of surprises for us down the road as the season continues on, and I'm hoping they go back to traditional sneak peeks, where I could talk about a new sneak peek every couple of days, instead of them just dropping everything on us at once. I think traditional sneak peeks are definitely the way to go. But anyways, we'll just have to wait and see again. But I'm excited for this season, and I hope you guys are too, so be sure to like and subscribe as always. And I guess everybody, with all that, thank you so much for watching, and as always, this is Pixelated Pumpkin, signing out.